Welcome to Pitch Night 2022. We're so excited to be here. I'm one of the Incubator teachers, Jeff Nixon.
I'm Lindsay Stokes, one of the other teachers.
We're so incredibly proud of all of the students that participated in the Incubator program this year. We have 4 finalists and 5 wildcard teams that you just saw out in the lobby. And we're just so excited for you guys to see the hard work and everything they've put into these presentations and their business concepts this year. We want to first thank our presenting sponsor of tonight's event, Lightspeed Systems. And then we want to recognize the many other sponsors and people that have donated money to the Incubator program. This program would not be possible without the generous donations of companies and family members in this community that help support this program, the funds that we provide for the teams. So please give a round of applause for the sponsors and donations given to this program.
All right, so we couldn't let him off the hook with it being his last year. So one of our biggest supporters, we're going to let Dr. Tom Leonard come out and say a few words.
Good evening. How many in the audience is this your first pitch night that you've seen here at Westlake? Okay, that's quite a few people. Well, welcome. There are a lot of great things that happen in Westlake, and there's a lot of great things that happen at this high school. And this is one that I'm really proud that we have here. Just to give you a little history of this, if you don't know the history, this program started when a guy invited me to breakfast in Chicago about 12, 15 years ago, and he said he had an idea. And so we opened this program at one high school. Now it's in 35 states and 4 foreign countries, which was not the plan. It was not the plan. And when I came down here, this community, I figured if anyone can do this program well, it's going to be Westlake. And there are a couple individuals that I really do want to call out. One's not here, but he's here in spirit. How many know who Bo Ross was or who Bo Ross is? What? If it wasn't for Bo, I don't know that we'd have this program. And Mike Frost is out there, and I remember talking to him. He's sitting over there somewhere, and we had a conversation. I go, I think this will work in Westlake. And he goes, oh, I don't know. We kind of talked about it. Then I needed a teacher, and we looked at Jeff Nixon, and I said, I got this program. Where's Jeff? Well, I should drag him out here. And I basically said, look, you're basically going to teach a class, and you're going to have a bunch of members of the community who are going to co-teach with you, and they're going to mentor teams. And he really quickly said, no. Am I right? And it took a lot of convincing, and are we glad that we have him? We really are. This program was designed so that the scrappy C student or the straight A student could find something that they were curious about or had a passion about, and that they could just work on and get to connect with some unbelievable people in the community and just see where it goes. And I know it has lit a fire under kids. Mike Frost was telling me about his daughter. I won't share the story, but this is what pushed her, and she's going into her senior year in college. And he said this is the program that kind of lit the fire under her. And my replacement, Dr. Jeff Arnett, who will be taking my place, wonderful guy, worked with me in Illinois. His son was in the first program, the first class of Incubator EDU, and then he winds up going to Baylor, and kind of lit a fire under him as well. So you never know what's going to happen with these types of programs. You do know that no one does anything better than Westlake. No one. And look at this stage with David Poole up there and the kids running this program. Let's give them a round of applause. This program is rooted here. I think Jeff told me they have 195 students-ish signed up for next year, something like that, the highest enrollment ever that want to go into the program. So enjoy tonight. Understand that you have something very special here, and please keep it going. Stay well. Oh, I think I'm introducing. I'm sorry, I'm introducing someone. Am I doing the next I can. All right. So you need a community champion to make this work. Bo Ross was one of them. Mike Frost was one of them. And our community champion who's running this right now is Brian Thomas. It's all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Leonard. Good evening, everybody. How you doing there in the front row? I'm going to try to make this quick so we stay on time. We'll be talking about kind of each of the functions that help us raise the money and make this program successful. Instead of reading the names, I'll just help you understand how this works. The advisory board basically has 4 responsibilities. First responsibility is to support Jeff and Lindsay, who do an excellent job. Second responsibility is to help find coaches, mentors, and the people who help us in the classroom on a daily basis. And so there are class pitch judges. You can see that's kind of the third thing they do. I get to be one of those. That's a really exciting time. In one day or 2 days, you get to see every one of these teams. And then you have the very difficult job of selecting who makes it to pitch night. And then you choose the teams that are going to be out in the hallway as well, who may end up being a team who gets on stage later. The coaches, these coaches show up for a couple of days, and they cover a particular curriculum in the classroom. And that's a very important job, too, because they help shape how each team will be successful or not be successful and what they come up with. And then we have the mentors. I think that's the hardest one. Mentors are very involved with each team, and the success of the mentor and the success of the team make everything possible. So, if you are a volunteer, an advisory board member, a coach, or at all involved in helping, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you all for that. And then the fourth thing that the board is responsible for is making money. So, I think there's a slide here with a QR code. If you can take a picture of that and donate tonight, we would really appreciate it. With that, I'll hand it back to the heroes here. Thank you.
So just wanted to go back for a second. If you haven't had the opportunity to visit the Incubator room, you definitely should. This is an incredible collaborative space. All of the furniture, the technology, the build out for it was done with generous donations from the community and businesses that helped support this program. And it is really an amazing, as my son would say, the best room on campus. It's an incredible space and really remarkable what they did on a high school campus. We've kind of touched on this a little bit, but this is the 6th year that we've had the Incubator program at Westlake High School. We had 175 students enrolled this year that formed 32 teams. 4 of those teams were selected to be finalists tonight, and 5 of those teams were selected to be wild cards that you guys voted on, and one of those teams you'll also see on stage tonight as well to have our 5 finalists on stage.
All right, a few more thank yous before we really get this evening started. We cannot continue this evening without thanking our amazing Board of Trustees that work tirelessly to support our program and programs all throughout the district. So if you're here, can you please stand? And then we also have our school level administrators that are always looking out for us, and we would like to thank them as well. I know they're getting pulled all over the place this evening, but a special thank you to our school level administrators as well.
All right, we're going to get started with the evening with bringing out our judges. Please welcome to the stage Clint Bybee, Kim Voss, Carly Deerdorf, Jan Ryan, and Jeff Eversman. Now, throughout the evening, you'll be hearing a little bit more about each judge, and we're going to kick that off by hearing about Clint Bybee.
Clint Bybee is co-founder and managing director emeritus of Arch Venture Partners, a leading life sciences venture capital firm. He also serves on the board of Mobile Loaves and Fishes and the advisory boards of 2 marine science and conservation organizations. Mr. Bybee is an avid saltwater fly fisherman and holds an MBA from the University of Chicago and a BS in engineering from Texas A&M University. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Clint.
All right, we're going to get started and welcome our first team to the stage. Please put your hands together for kickoff.
Hi, judges. My name is Jace Bennett,
I'm Ashwin Jandhiala.
I'm Maddie Chang.
I'm Akshay Kakad.
And I'm Nick Masad.
and we are Kickoff. Before we start this presentation, I want to give you a little backstory. This is my sister, Presley Bennett. She plays basketball at Texas State and competes at the Division I level. As you can see, she has a very busy schedule, and this is just in her off-season. As you can see, she starts class at 10 o'clock, has practice and training from 1 to 6, and spends her evenings studying and doing homework. Collegiate athletes like Presley devote their entire careers to perfecting their art in their sports, and they will see little compensation for their hard work and dedication. To put it into context, there are typically only 5 Division I sports that offer full-ride scholarships. They are basketball, football, tennis, volleyball, and gymnastics. Now, if you play any of the other 19 sports or compete at the Division II or III level, you're either receiving very limited amount of funding or no money at all. However, there's one caveat. You might have heard recently the term called NIL. It stands for name, image, and likeness. And you've probably heard of it because as of last July, the NCAA has allowed college athletes to finally benefit from their brand. Now, because this is a fairly new industry, the only athletes that are taking advantage of this are the ones that receive the most media coverage. But we don't think it should stop there. Imagine if underrepresented sports or female athletes can have the same advantages as their counterparts.
This is why we created Kickoff, an online platform that connects local businesses to student athletes to create meaningful sponsorships. Kickoff allows athletes to start to build their brand early on and gives them access to a wide range of local businesses. It also gives businesses the unique opportunity to have their hometown hero advertise for them. Kickoff works off the idea of micro-influencers. Micro-influencers like athletes have a smaller reach, but despite this smaller reach, they often can appear more genuine and allow businesses to target specific locations. Because of this, they are effectively more cost efficient. For our MVP, we programmed a fully functional app that works across both iOS and Android. Throughout the process of creating our app, we gave it to many businesses and athletes and received extremely positive feedback about our user interface. Our app is currently published to the testing portion of the Apple App Store, and we're in the process of onboarding users as we speak. I'm now going to walk you through some of our app's functionality. First, users sign in and provide basic information. Then there's a dashboard where users can view ongoing and upcoming sponsorships, as well as launch targeted campaigns. We have a search feature where users can search and filter for different potential partners based on location. Our For You page that uses our location-based algorithm to recommend potential partners. A messaging system to help facilitate in-app communication between businesses and athletes. And finally, a profile page where you can view businesses can view athletes' Instagram pages and highlights.
Throughout our MVP, we've been able to contact many local businesses, such as Westlake businesses and Austin-based businesses. As well as that, we've been able to contact many high school athletes and college athletes who've been wanting to participate in our MVP. These businesses and athletes represent a diverse array of industries and sports, and we are currently working to onboard them onto our app. One of our major goals is to facilitate as many sponsorships as possible, and that all starts with creating this sponsorship here with Kendra Scott and the 2021 national champion UT women's rowing team. Now, to give you a little bit of a background, Kendra Scott is an Austin-based jewelry company that prides themselves in giving back to women in the community. So when they heard about Kickoff, they thought it was a great idea because it could help increase their image and grow their brand. We are working really hard to facilitate this sponsorship, and hopefully we can make a connection that can last for years to come. I want to highlight another sponsorship that we were able to create. Chinook Seedery is a Texas-based sunflower seed company, and we were able to connect them with Camille Corona, the third baseman for the UT women's softball team. Now, we had the ability to meet the founder of Chinook Seedery, Mark Pettyjohn, who is here with us tonight. When we met Mark, he gave us a certain criteria that he wanted in the athlete and the sport, and that's how we came up with Camille Corona. Because sunflower seeds and softball go hand in hand together, that's why she was the best person for the sponsorship. Right now, Mark has sent Camille the necessary materials, meaning sunflower seeds, so that she could create 2 Instagram posts to post on her Instagram to promote Chinook. Chinook has worked with athletes in the past, but whenever we presented kickoff to them, they thought it was a great way to streamline the process of sponsorships. Throughout our MVP, we've been able to research some of our competitors. Our competitors include open sponsorship, open doors, and of course, traditional agents. Now, since NIL is still a newer industry, there aren't that many competitors. But some of the unique things that we have over them is that we allow high school athletes to create a profile on our app, and we allow location-based algorithm. We have a location-based algorithm. Now, I want to touch on the location-based algorithm a little bit more. So, for example, if I was an athlete at the University of Texas and I logged onto the Kickoff app, I would be able to find businesses in that UT campus area or in the Austin area. So what it does is it connects athletes in one location to businesses in another location. Now, this is super important because these athletes have a sphere of influence and are very trusted figures in their community, which is why businesses can use this to advertise to their community, which has a greater outreach than mass marketing.
Recently, our team has been working to acquire more customers in Austin. We set up a meeting with the founders of FlexATX, a local news and media source that covers high school sports with over 27,000 followers on Instagram. They also run The Horn and other local radio stations, and they agreed to promote our app on their platforms before our official launch. We plan to acquire athletes through athlete recruitment sites like Max Preps and Huddle. Through these athlete recruitment sites, they contain ads, and we want to use the advertisements there to promote our company. In addition, we want to reward athletes who find success on our app with a unique referral code. They can use this code and share it with their friends and earn a commission for it. Kickoff services 3 different markets: high school athletes, college athletes, and businesses. However, since high school athletes can't make money due to state-sanctioned rules, we don't charge them anything to be on the platform. So our paying customers make up about 1.8 billion users.
We have 3 main sources of revenue. First, athletes pay $2 a month to be on our app, have access to the businesses, and promote their brand. Second, businesses pay $15 a month to have access to the athletes, to message them, and to do campaigns. And finally, as we found out that traditional agents usually take about 15 to 20% of each sponsorship, we competitively priced our finder's fee at about 10%. After careful calculations of our revenue model, we found that in the first year we'll make around $8,000, $22,000 in the second year, and about $120,000 in the third year. This makes our gross revenue just around $163,000, and because our service is an app, we have little to no COGS, as well as, and after accounting for our SG&A, our net profit ends at about $150,000. With your help, Kickoff could be a pioneering force in the new NIL industry. We asked for $1,500 to drawing up a basic contract that would be provided upon using our app, $6,000 to marketing on the aforementioned sites such as Huddle and Max Preps, $4,500 to cover the cost of some sponsorships during beta testing, and $3,000 for redesigning the look and function of our app, such as integrating direct payment. We are also passionate about this, and as Mark says, we have identified a tremendous opportunity in the rapidly growing NIL space. We are in a position to help so many college athletes, and with your investment, we could really kick off. Thank you.
I have a question. You talked about 1.7 million businesses. Is that nationally, locally? What does that figure represent?
That's across the US. So there are 40 million small businesses, and the 1.8 million small businesses come from the amount of businesses that make between $50,000 and $100,000 per year annually. And the reason why we chose this number is because we found that businesses tend to spend between 7 to 8% on advertising.
Okay, and a follow-up question, because I thought it was national. Thanks for clarifying that. So how do you, as part of your plan, how do you imagine reaching out and getting, some subset of those, ideally all of them, on your platform? Is that telesales? How do you imagine populating that piece of your platform?
I can take this. So we have a couple different options here. One way we're reaching out to businesses is we're going to hire sales reps, and they generally take around 20 to 30% of commissions based on how much we make off the businesses we attract. So we're going to pay them $100 per business, and that's per business that they acquire for our app, and that's where part of the $6,000 in advertising is going to. As far as athletes go, like Maddie mentioned earlier, we're going to market through sports platforms and also use that referral code to attract more athletes.
And then thank you for that. And then maybe just a follow-up question. On the flip side, how do you add the 35,000 new athletes a year to your platform?
So
sorry, go ahead.
So like we mentioned before, we are working closely with different news outlets in the Austin area right now. That includes the Horn and the Austin Radio Network. And one of our long-term goals is to slowly expand out of the Austin area, hitting places like San Marcos Ave, Texas State, going to Houston and Dallas. And our plan is to use similar tactics in there where we get close with news and radio stations to help spread the word for athletes and businesses to join.
As well as that, we've been thinking about contacting coaches. For example, the UT swimming coach, we would want to contact them and set up a meeting with all of the players and see if any of them are interested in working with us to get them sponsorships, of course.
Great job. I love the fact that you're focusing on the NIL space. That's, it's a huge white space right now, and there's a lot of creative things that are going to happen in that space. So I applaud you. And I also actually love the fact that you're focused on micro-influencers. A lot of people really do care about that authentic voice. But what I want to focus a little bit on my question, a little bit deeper, are the businesses that you're focused on. And tell us a little bit about the characteristics of some of the business that might want to choose you first. Who are those early adopters? Tell us a little more about what those, what the pain is the most that would be so urgent that they would now be the first to sign up. Have you given that some thought?
Yeah, so a couple examples here in Westlake. There's this coffee shop just down the road called Try On. Now, Try On is fairly small, but they're known across Westlake. Outside of Westlake, though, they are nobody. And they probably want to expand a little bit. But they don't have any crazy money to launch big televised ads. So by using a couple Westlake athletes, we already have one we're planning to pair them with, this Westlake athlete can reach out for them, as it's not too expensive for them, and it's genuine and that's authentic for those type of businesses who don't have the crazy money to run telemarketer ads and all that, but they can do this.
To add on to that, we're focusing on both hyper-local and semi-local businesses. And these businesses are businesses that want to grow their name in the community and engage in the community. And then, in turn, the community will provide them business.
Who would not be an early adopter?
Chick-fil-A. That's an example. That's right over here.
Good,
they're a huge
good
chain.
response. Yeah.
Here we go. Hi, y'all. Amazing, amazing job. Really great, strong pitch. I love that we got to hear from all of you. Really, really impressive. And also, your slide deck was really great. I loved all the movement that went on. So I want to touch on what you spoke to about female athletes and diverse athletes and in some of these other smaller schools. So you mentioned the story of your sister, and I want to hear about the inspiration behind that, maybe beyond your sister, and if y'all have met any other athletes who are potentially in college and struggling financially, and if you've seen this business case and seen that they would be interested in being involved, if you have a couple of other of those stories.
Yeah, for sure. So what really inspired us is we've heard all the news and the craze for NIL, they're the new deals. But when you hear about this, it's all about the football teams, the basketball teams of all these big powerhouse schools. And we were doing some more research as a team, and we found out there are plenty of other smaller athletes with smaller reaches, right? But still enough to be useful advertisers. And we thought it'd be a great way to get them in the loop, because right now there's no real other option for them to do so. And so Camille, for example, the UT softball player that we paired with Chinook, she has several thousand followers, that loyal friends that would totally, if she posted buy Chinook seeds, then her friends would do that. And it's one, cost effective for the business, and two, it gets to a real niche group of individuals in the area that they can sell to.
And on a more personal note, all of us are either student athletes or really close friends with student athletes, so we've witnessed firsthand the amount of effort and dedication that these athletes put into their sport. And oftentimes, they don't get any compensation whatsoever, any recognition, and we really think that's a big problem that needs to be solved.
And I think it's important to note that sometimes these smaller athletes have the ability to make change. So last year during March Madness, there was this female NCAA women's basketball player named Sedona Prince. She played for the University of Oregon, and she was able to point out the differences between the men's March Madness and the women's March Madness. And in 1 year, she was able to make change so that the women got a weight room to practice with and an actual stadium to practice in.
I love this. Thank y'all for amplifying those voices and working hard for those athletes. Great job.
All right, thank you so much, Kickoff.
Return to the Mac, get what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of hitting on the internet and checking who hit me, get up. Thrift shopping, start walking, a little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Some whip a treat like pocket copies, but again, no, y'all can't copy, yep.
Okay, so earlier in the lobby, we asked all of you to take part in this evening and kind of spearhead what direction we're going in. I know we've got quite a few teams sitting over in this area of the room that are ready to find out who's going to be our wild card pitch. I'd like to say congratulations, Questy. If y'all could start making your way backstage, you can get prepared for your presentation. Congratulations to all of our wild card teams. This really was an amazing setup, and we could not be more proud of you. Okay, before we see our next pitch, we're going to get to know a little bit about our next judge, Kim Voss.
Kim serves as Executive Vice President and Chief Accounting Officer at American Campus Communities, which is the largest developer and owner of student housing communities in the United States, with over 200 properties at 70 universities across the country. A certified public accountant, Kim holds Bachelor of Business Administration and Master's in Professional Accounting degrees from the University of Texas at Austin. Kim is an avid supporter of the Eanes Education Foundation, serving on the board of EEF. She also serves on the board of directors for Kirby Lane Cafe and is a member of the University of Texas Department of Accounting Advisory Council. Thank you so much for being here tonight, Kim.
Okay, it's time for our second presentation. Please welcome to the stage, Urbana.
Hello, we are Urbana. I'm Ella Strickland. I'm Trinity Myers.
I'm Austin Kay.
I'm Valeria Facundo. And I'm Gigi Helmy. Raise your hand if you know anyone that has experienced postpartum depression. In the United States alone, thousands of mothers fall victim. We know this can be an immensely difficult topic to discuss and can feel shameful and embarrassing. We're here to help. The Urbana app will create a safe community for parents to relate to others going through similar situations, as well as provide them connections to connect with doctors and other people that they may need help from. This will give them the tools they need in order to overcome the struggles that come with new parents. Here's some quotes from mothers we interviewed. When asked about their early stages of parenthood, they said they were nightmarish, they experienced panic attacks all throughout the night, and they felt isolated and alone. In addition to this, many said that they felt some sort of trauma, as well as were afraid constantly. By providing a judge-free platform for medical practitioners, parents, as well as a unique community, we set ourselves apart in projected success. Unlike our competitors, we provide access to various features without having to download and pay for multiple apps.
More specifically, Urbana is a subscription-based app with information, medical help, and network of other parents. Urbana aims to create a unique experience for every user through the use of surveys, subscriptions, and access to tried and true information. Ultimately, we want to help as many parents as possible reduce their anxieties and reduce the type of quotes you see here.
GET is our process of marketing to customers, as well as getting medical practitioners onto the platform.
We will be achieving our goals through word-of-mouth, flyers, doctor referrals, and social media influencers. We plan to keep our customers through a subscription. We'll offer a monthly, 6-month, and yearly rate.
The point system is in reference to the credits that we will give Urbana users for the amount of people that they refer to the app via QR code.
Urbana will save and protect your credit card data and utilizing automatic renewal.
A majority of our growth will be in the form of customers seeking a community. We will also be staying in touch via text messages and emails.
We found our total addressable market by taking the number of births per year, which is around 4 million, and taking 63% of this figure. This then gave us the percentage of parents in which experienced some form of baby blues after having a child.
Within our serviceable addressable market, we took out TAM and narrowed it down further by taking 75% of TAM to account for the number of baby blue cases that turned into postpartum depression. Our ending figure was around 245,000 users.
We may not reach these numbers, but they do promise a consistent market. By year 3, we are expected to have $480,000 in revenue, thus making us a key player in the market of parenting-related apps. In March, we subscribed into a website named Fluid to help us build our wireframe. We looked into different formats that would help us accomplish this, and as you can tell, we made a very simple design.
Not only did we create the wireframe, but we realized we needed some feedback. We then sent out these pictures that you see here in order to get helpful feedback on not only pricing, but things as what we should add or what we need to do in order to grow. We then settled on a $10.50 monthly subscription with a first month free, a $60 6-month subscription, as well as a $90 yearly subscription rate.
This is the start of our conservative 3-year summary. This accounts for subscription fall-off as well as the 15% revenue the Apple Store is entitled to.
Our total selling, general, and administrative costs equate to around $10,000 in year 1. This does not include startup costs.
Our profit margin is around 73%. By year 2, our total selling, general, and administrative cost was around $14,000, and this is to match our customer growth, fees, and pay professionals to keep Urbana in good shape.
Our growth rate projected from year 2 to year 3 is around 75%.
In year 3, our SG&A is roughly $20,000. This keeps an account for customer fall-off and subscription renewal rates. Due to the nature of our app, we do not have COGS.
This is the login page of our app where the user will enter their basic information, set a password, and be directed to Urbana's features.
On one of the main Urbana pages, we will be installing a search tab where the user can find and connect with professionals such as postpartum therapists, specialized OBGYNs, or night nurses in a specific area.
We will also be installing a self-improving Yelp-like system where the Urbana users can rate whatever medical professional that they may have worked with, and those will populate towards the top of the page. This will then help other Urbana users find the practitioner most suitable for them.
We also have a frequently asked questions page where the user will be able to type in any question they may have and be responded to by professionals within minutes.
In this section of our app, we will collect your credit card information to be able to automatically renew your subscription, and this information will be protected by Face ID.
We will also provide a section where the user can put in their given city in order to create a local community. The Friends button will record and connect the user to parents going through similar situations.
We received $200 to work on the development of our MVP, as well as improving our Get, Keep, Grow plan. We used a third of this money on our app wireframe.
We are requiring $15,000 in capital. $10,000 of this would go to the actual creation of the app, in which we are already in contact with an app developer from somebody who is on our team who cannot be here tonight. We also have $3,000 that will go to buying the domain, as well as figuring out some other expenses. The rest will go to not only bug fixes, but finding the necessary things that we need to improve within the app.
We owe our lives to our parents. Help us give back. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes, okay. Really nice presentation there, and I love the design and the colors, and it's also so soothing, and it's very fitting. And I think it's really impressive that you guys are thinking about a stage of life that maybe you're not close to at this point in time, but that a lot of people go through. So it's nice to see you thinking outside of the box. Okay, so one of the things that struck me is I think it's great you've got a good hook for when people are in that new baby stage. And you did mention in some of your projections that you do have some user attrition and drop off, projected in there. Have you really thought through what the average length of time is that you can retain those users, and maybe talk a little bit about how much attrition you have in your projections? And then maybe one quick thing related to that is, have you thought about expanding it beyond that baby stage? Maybe you can keep those users hooked in by adding some services that might make them interested as parents of toddlers and beyond that stage.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we have a 6-month subscription because that is the average time in which severe postpartum depression occurs. And there is also a yearly subscription in which automatically renews. So instead of just keep bugging the customer, we have this automatic renewal that is very safe, and it fits the time frame because every person is unique. Not everybody has the same experience with these sort of issues. So that's kind of what we were going for. And we also have a 50% growth rate from year 1 to year 2, because within that year, we are expecting a lot of people to refer their friends or people who are in their community in which are having children as well. We also have a 75% growth rate from year 2 to year 3, and so it basically keeps continuing because we have more people referring and more people coming onto the app.
I had a question around how you recruited the professionals that you said would be able to answer questions. When someone had a question, they would get an immediate answer from professionals. Tell us a little bit more about that part of the business.
So we've started talking already to doctors and therapists around the area, getting in contact with them, seeing if they like what we made, and on our slides we showed them everything, and they've been very they've thought it was good.
Been very helpful, and they have given us plenty of resources in which we can find contacts, and we have talked to many people, but I think your question was referring to how those questions are populated. Our algorithm, we're aiming it to be very self-processing, and it improves itself. So whenever a question gets entered, that will be reused when keywords pop up later on. So once we figure out the logistics of the app and what actually goes behind those algorithms, then we will find ways to keep those questions continuing.
Thank you.
Excellent job on your presentation. I have a question for you about your customer interviews, whether you talked to anybody who had experienced postpartum depression or read studies to determine kind of what helped them during that period and how that got designed into your app.
Yes, sir. So we talked to parents that have had postpartum depression and have not. And some parents that have had postpartum depression said that they didn't have any resources and that this would be super helpful for them. And even mothers that said they did have resources to help them, they said that this would be a great beneficial as well as the other things they used.
Yes, and we had an inside voice on this too. Our mentor, Mrs. Jumanville, experienced postpartum depression with her second child, so she was a really big voice in helping advocate for the people that we are trying to advocate for with our app.
I think we have time for another one. Hi, y'all. Great job. I agree with what Kim said about this is not something likely any of you are experiencing currently, but being able to understand the need that's there is really impressive. So great work. My question's about where these communities currently exist, and in that migration of getting them into a new platform, a new app, where are they right now, and how do y'all anticipate beyond influencers and other things getting them to migrate into something that's so new, and who will those beta users be?
We are gearing a lot towards Facebook groups because I think we all know that our moms and our parents love Facebook groups and they love doing that stuff. So why not go and start there? So we started in Facebook groups. We also, our mentor, Ms. Jumanville, as I mentioned, she started Upspring Baby, which is a business that sells baby products, and that already has a large customer segment, and she sold the company. So if the loyal customers in which we want on our app as well, we can kind of advocate towards them. But the communities exist everywhere. We just have to make sure that we advocate for the right things.
All right, we're going to wrap that up. Great job, Urbana.
Thank you.
Now we're going to hear just a little bit more about our next judge, Carly Deerdorf.
Carly empowers and amplifies voices that often go unheard by telling stories that have the power to unify diverse populations toward community change. She is the Senior Chief of Staff at Capital Factory, aiming for work to contribute to the betterment of the Texas community and the overall global startup ecosystem. After completing her master's degree in Barcelona in international studies on media, power, and diversity, she knew that she needed to come back to the state that has provided her with so much to contribute and build a stronger, more diverse ecosystem for all Texans to thrive. Thank you for joining us, Carly.
And now let's welcome our next team to the stage, Pharmacist.
Good evening. I'm Andrew. I'm Zach. I'm Amon. I'm Parker.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Mason. Imagine this. You're stuck at home with the flu, feeling miserable. You finally leave your bed after hours to take some Tylenol, but you realize that you're completely out. You have to make the painful trip to the pharmacy to buy some more, but when you arrive, this is what you see. About 30 different types of Tylenol that all look identical. As you try to determine which ones you need to be taking, you're bombarded with this information. Miserably sick, you just grab one that seems okay and take the pill.
This should be no problem. You'll just make your way home and hope to feel better, right?
Wrong. You start to feel dizzy, nauseous, and suddenly you are on the way to the hospital. After hours of intense illness and tons of new medical bills to pay, your doctor informs you that that new Tylenol you took contained antihistamine, which negatively interacted with the medication you were already on. Fearful of this detrimental instance occurring again, you begin to think of ways to prevent it in the future, but you are lost because there is no way to.
Welcome to Pharmacist. When dealing with medicine, there are many risk factors. With the amount of different medications out there today and the complexity of them, it is near impossible to take medicine with 100% confidence that there is no risk. So, here's our problem broken down. First, over 1.3 million Americans visit the emergency room every year due to unintentional adverse drug reactions, many of which have to receive intense treatment, often resulting in death. Secondly, many people are constantly worried about a loved one's intake of meds, whether it be an elderly parent who has recently become very forgetful, a young child, or maybe someone suffering from a chronic condition. Many people can relate to the stress of trying to safely manage a loved one's medicine. And lastly, we have found that many people simply do not have an effective way of keeping track of their medicine. They often forget to take their medicine or forget if they have taken it, which ultimately can result in very dangerous situations. With all of these problems, and many of them being life-threatening, we are here to provide a solution. Pharmacist is a personalized medication manager app that guarantees the medicine you are taking is safe for you. And now for a quick rundown of our app.
When you first open the Pharmacist app, you'll be presented with a login screen asking you to sign in or sign up. In this example, you just log in using a pre-created account. From there, you can move to our home screen, which is the hub to navigate to all of our features. You could then insert your personal health information, such as allergies, medical conditions, current medications, and age. Moving back to the home screen, you can then check out our personal log, which allows you to insert what medication you'll be taking and remind you when to take it. If you need to view your loved one's medical intake, head over to our family circle. You can press on the user's profile. You can check maybe if they've taken the medications. If you don't check interactions, you must head over to our interaction checker. You can insert caffeine intake, alcohol intake, over-the-counter medications, and press if you need to check with your personal health information. Pressing that check interaction button will let you know if any interactions were found and if it has any danger to you. Now, when you first download the Pharmacist app, you only have certain features available to you. You have some ads, the medication logger, and the drug-to-drug interaction checker. But if you don't unlock all of our features, you need to upgrade to Pharmacist Plus, allowing for no ads, the medication logger, all of the interaction checkers, personalization in the family circle.
Our competitors are Hippocrates, WebMD, and Medisafe. As you can see, our competitors all lack something Pharmacist has as a whole. Pharmacist is simple to use, you're able to log your medications, and it has more personalized drug interactions. Pharmacist is more superior than its competitors at keeping track of people's medications, as well as keeping them out of the hospital.
For our MVP, creating a fully functioning app to demonstrate our product would be absolutely amazing. But the complexity of it, the interactions make it unrealistic to develop. So instead, we focused on how the app would look if it was actually on our phones. We created an accurate video demonstration that was professional and animated. We then took this to a retirement community with over 630 residents. Coupled with this, we also sent a survey out en masse where we got data from all age ranges. From this, we concluded that the average price someone would pay would be around $5, and the most important feature would be the medication logger, as well as we need to expand our target audience. Because yes, age is an important factor, but what about those with chronic conditions? That plays a vital role as well. Now, using all the Now, when we first develop our app, we need to allocate more resources to the features that are more important, having an affordable price plan, and broadening our marketing strategies to those with chronic conditions.
To further our MVP research, we reached out to doctors around Austin. We found that out of the 73 we connected with, 71 of them said that they would refer pharmacists to their patients. Secondly, we met with our local pharmacy peoples. There, we learned that smaller pharmacies are able to provide personal assistance to their customers, yet bigger pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens do not. This will allow us to target bigger pharmacies' customers in the future. Lastly, we were chosen as finalists for the A&M Ideas Challenge last weekend. There, we had the opportunity to pitch our idea to over 50 investors and potential customers. We also gained a significant amount of feedback there, such like including a drug-to-supplement interaction checker on our app. All of these opportunities allowed us to alter pharmacists to a higher potential.
So, who's our target market? We have a very large market size comprised of two general segments. Here on the left side, you see age and lifestyle. To calculate this, we start with the adult American population. There's 18 and up. And then we narrow it down to our specific age range of 18 to 35 and 65 plus. We then use the assumption that about 5 to 8% of people would actually download our app, leaving us with about 5 million age and lifestyle customers. On the other side, we start with the same American adult population, but this time we narrow it down to those with multiple chronic conditions. We then factor out any possible crossover between our two segments and apply the same 5 to 8% as stated before, leaving us with about 4 million chronic condition customers in the US alone. In addition to these two large markets, we have many smaller markets that would greatly benefit from using our app. For example, people experiencing unexpected injuries and illnesses, pregnant women, and drug abuse recovery programs. Our app could help mitigate many of these possible health concerns. Now for marketing, we plan to use an exponential tactic. We'll start by advertising in newsletters and magazines of retirement communities, as well as doing some physical advertising in local pharmacies. Then we will begin soliciting through the more than 70 doctors we've already made contact with, who will then offer our app to their patients. Then we will initiate a social media campaign. This will enable us to reach a broader audience in a wider variety of locations. And finally, we'll be partnering with insurance companies. These companies want to protect their customers because that's how they secure their money. With our help, they'll be able to gain and retain more customers, thus increasing our own customer base.
For our revenue streams, we have both a subscription and ad-based model. We generate revenue through two channels, retirement communities and doctor referrals, as well as direct-to-consumer physical and social media advertising. For our ad-based revenue, we first started off by estimating a realistic attainable market for each of our channels and applying a 5 to 8% download take rate. We then calculated our total annual ad revenue by using a monthly 3% churn of free users to figure out how many of them would consistently use our app over the course of the year. In year one, we're expecting 42,000 free users. In year two, 117,000, and in year three, 230,000. As for our subscription-based revenue, we first started off by pricing our premium feature at $4.99 per month. We then used a 2% subscription take rate to figure out how many of our users would upgrade to our premium version. And lastly, we used a 6% churn of subscription users from year to year. In year one, we are expecting 630 subscription users. In year two, around 1,800, and in year three, around 3,800. With so many potential customers already demanding for the launch of our app and many customer segments worldwide needing a solution, we believe that Pharmacist has both the opportunity and potential to become a very scalable business. Therefore, with the appropriate marketing strategies, we have placed a 230% growth rate between year 1 and year 2, and a 200% growth rate between year 2 and year 3.
Our startup costs will be around $25,000 for app creation and having a database that can provide us information. An app developer has already agreed to create our app, and First Data Bank will be providing this information. Our SG&A, or our recurring costs, are insurance, maintenance, updates, legal work, consulting fees, marketing, app development, getting a patent, app store fees, and making sure our app stays relevant on the App Store. Our SG&A cost over 3 years will be $53,000, $138,000, and $248,000.
Being an app involved in the pharmaceutical and medical industries, we will undoubtedly be facing some legal and liability problems. We plan on approaching these problems first by adding a terms and conditions that will ensure our users know our app is a recommendation and should not be used as professional medical advice. Along with this, we plan on hiring legal consultants to help guide us through the rest of our process. We also had the opportunity to meet with a medical lawyer, where we learned that we will not be needing FDA approval and that we do not have to stay in compliance with the HIPAA guidelines. This is because we are not considered a covered entity or a business associate. However, that being said, we do value the privacy of our customers' information and will ensure the security of it. With the help we've already received and the guidance we will have as we begin the development of our app, we will be avoiding these problems to the very best of our abilities. Tonight, we are asking for $25,000. With the help of this investment, as well as a potential investment from the Knoll and Young Associates, we will be able to have our app fully developed and ready to launch by no later than September. We are a group of passionate individuals who are devoted to creating Pharmacist to its fullest potential. Thank you so much for being here tonight, and we're open to answering any questions you might have.
Great job. It sounds like you've had some practice at the A&M competition.
Yes, sir.
I had a question for you about the research you were doing on the problem statement. And did you come across any drug interactions that seemed more common than others that could be used as an initial target market?
Yeah, so as we kind of dove into this research, we found the biggest one was with Tylenol, because it is acetaminophen, which can often be in other medicines, but since the amount of different ones that are there and they all look very similar, it's hard to determine which ones have a crossover. So that was one of the biggest ones that we had found, but we would definitely look into more to start there.
I have a question for you. First, I'll tell you, you as a group did a very nice job up there on the presentation.
Thank you.
My parents live in a retirement community, so I'm familiar with that. You talked about it a number of times as really one of your target areas. I can't think of anybody in their retirement community that knows how to open an app or refers to it on a daily basis. I mean, I taught my mom how to Uber using an app, and that was like a 2-week endeavor. And so I'm just scratching my head a little bit on your target market of retirement communities and an app to fill that, because I don't see it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's one of our unique things about our app is the extreme simplicity of it, because we recognize that this is a difficult market to fill with order generations and technology. That's also why we have so many additional markets too, because chronic conditions, people of any age can have chronic conditions. People of any age can struggle with drug abuse and could use this app to really benefit them. But we still want to consider age as a very valid option. But that's where the simplicity comes in.
I wanted to also say you did a great job. It's a good-looking group. This is the third good-looking group. I'm impressed. And I love the way you started with the story. You got us all very involved with what you were doing. I still feel like it's fairly broad, though, in looking at the customers that you're going after. So I also, question some of the different customer groups. You're something that a lot of people could use. This is a big problem, and you're going to be able to find something here if you focus on what those first adopters are. And that I get passionate about that because you've got to find out who needs it first and the most. Maybe it's the care providers that are, helping someone in a care home. But what's your sense of who those first adopters are really going to be after studying this and talking to people?
We found that a lot of people, like the people we're mainly targeting, are people who take multiple medications and also who have trouble remembering to take their medication. So for example, for age, they'd usually forget to take their medication, and that's why we implemented the family circle, so a family member could be alerted if they forgot to take their medication. But on the other side, for people with chronic conditions, they're usually taking a lot of medications, so we really want to target them, especially through our doctor referrals, because we feel like doctors know their patients the best, and they'd be willing to refer our app. And so going through that channel, we believe will be very successful in acquiring those early adopters.
And I agree with that. And if there were ways to make it sticky so that when they start using it, maybe there's other value that it brings. Maybe there's some content you explore to make it something that's not just about me understanding how to keep up with my medicines, but actually get some value in the process. And you may think about that.
Yeah, Additionally, we realized that those medical companies, they have records of your personal health, allergies, conditions like that, but they lack we were taking Advil every day, and that could be inserted into our app, and you can print out a little sheet and give it to the doctor, because they're not going to have a record of, I've taken Advil every day, and you're probably not going to remember that, and that log can go back weeks, and it can show the doctor that says, hey, I've been taking these medications, over the counter every single day, and that just provides additional help to the doctors as well as the customers.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I have to compliment you because as you were starting your presentation, my brain was going to legal and privacy issues, and you guys thought through that. You covered it really well in your presentation. How are you going to get comfortable that you're capturing all of these medication interactions? I think you had mentioned there's a database that you would plug into, and is the cost of that database included in your SG&A projections?
Yeah, so that database is FDB, or called First Data Bank, and it's going to run us around $5,000 annually, every year. And the great thing about working with them is they've been in the medical industry for 40 plus years. They have customers like WebMD, Google, and Amazon, and they're providing literally all the information that we have. We gave them a list of all the features that we would want, and they're supplying every single, all the drug information, and they're extremely credible. And so, as updates of new medications come out, it's automatically updated on their end, which comes in ours. So we're constantly being updated with, new related things like that.
Great, thank you.
All right, great job, pharmacists.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Before we hear from our next team, we're going to learn a little bit about our next judge, Ms. Jan Ryan.
Jan Ryan has focused on building expansion stage companies for 30 years. With a passion for tomorrow's change leaders, Jan served as Executive Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the University of Texas, where she helped co-create the campus-wide Kendra Scott Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute. Jan serves as advisor and board member for some of Austin's most innovative young companies, is a Capital Factory partner, and a mentor at Techstars International Accelerator. In 2018, Jan was listed in Texas Monthly's Power issue of Most Influential Texans, won the Breaking Barriers Award at the Texas Women's Summit, has been featured on the cover of Austin Women magazine, received the Women of Distinction Award in 2016 by Texas Girl Scouts, and is an active contributor to the media for entrepreneurship and women in business. Thank you, Jan, for being with us tonight.
Okay, so this next team didn't even know for sure that they were going to present about 30 minutes ago. So give them a huge round of applause as they make their way. Please welcome Questy.
Yes. Hi. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome judges and guests. My name is Georgia Hicks.
I am Leah Goyle.
I'm Marley Brightson.
I'm Abby Ramberg.
I'm Kate Corbett.
I'm Ava Maples, and we are Questy. More than 30 million people travel to Austin every single year, but almost none of these tourists know what the coolest things to do are. Fast-growing cities like Austin, with brand new hotspots and fewer well-established landmarks, leave visitors with major FOMO. With all that Austin has to offer, the options become overwhelming, leaving travelers out of the loop and scared of missing out. These vacationers want an experience of discovery, but have no idea how to find it. Questy solves this problem by utilizing geolocation to notify users of exciting locations they're near based on their customized interests. We target adults ages 22 to 50 who travel to Austin for work and for pleasure. We exceed traditional tour guides and websites because we provide modern data, including real-time notifications, and a curated app that creates a discovery experience. Not only will Questy solve the customer's fear of missing out, it will provide them a modern experience of a modern city. Let's revolutionize up-and-coming city traveling with Questy.
Our solution is a free geolocation app that notifies users of nearby iconic attractions. We will let you know if your favorite celebrity has dined at a nearby restaurant, if a movie was filmed along your morning walk, or if a historical monument has more to its story than you might think. Our app allows users to experience and explore at their own pace. Now, I'm going to be walking you through our beta app, which is pending approval on the App Store. When users open the app, they are greeted with a sign-in page. They can create an account if they've never accessed the app, or they can simply log in. Once they are in the app, they will see the home page, which features a specific hotspot, 4 custom filters, a mini-map of their surroundings, and a few nearby locations. Users can click on the location at the top of the screen and see a description and comments from other Questy users to help build a community aspect. Users can like, comment, or reply on any locations page. Users also have the ability to upload their own favorite locations by submitting a photo and description and then waiting for approval. Here, users can check out their account settings and view their information. Our audience is centered on mobile device users ages 12 and up. But when narrowing our data, we foresee that our early adopters are young, working adults who want to experience the best of Austin when visiting. And while Questy is serviceable to all age groups, we believe that adults who come to Austin for work but still want to explore are our main market. And in following years of growth, we aim to reach a broad audience, including families with younger children, adventurous teens, and independent retirees.
We have identified one direct competitor, Field Trip, but there have been internal issues leading to Field Trip being taken off the App Store in early 2020. Our main indirect competitors are traditional tours and tour guides specific to one city. For example, the Shaka Guide app provides similar technology but can only be used in Maui, Hawaii. What sets us apart from our competitors is that we will take this technology beyond one city. Another indirect competitor we have identified is the app TripAdvisor. However, it lacks Questy's customizable discovery experience with the real-time notifications.
Questy's unique value is that when a user nears an iconic hotspot, Austin location, or preferred scene, our app will send a real-time notification. The app Questy is built with a local perspective that gives users the best representation of the city. The unique and dynamic curated information revolutionizes convenience when traveling.
Because the 6 of us share the same love and passion for our Austin community, we've decided together that Questy will pledge 6% of all profits to Austin Homeless Relief.
For our total addressable market, we started with the world population and found that 5% travel globally. We then added the limitation that 25% of the US population travel around the world, and 30% of those people travel within the US each year. Questy has 3 revenue streams: advertisement, subscription, and transaction-based. We offer a 1-month subscription for $5.99, a 1-year subscription for $24.99, and a 10-day ticket for $4.99. This leaves us with 2 billion units sold and $30 billion in revenue.
For our serviceable addressable market, we identified that nearly 9% of the U.S. population lives in Texas, and around 5% of people in the U.S. travel to Austin. Our SAM results in 5,300 units sold and a total revenue of $75,000.
Moving forward to our SG&A, we estimate that our year one expenses will be $10,000. Legal fees make up 3%, bug fixes and app updates make up 63%, and salaries and consulting fees make up the remainder. In addition, salaries and consulting fees will increase alongside our scaling due to city consultants who will be implementing data into our app. Bug fixes and app updates will ensure that our app stays relevant in the industry and free of technology issues. These numbers will increase as we expand beyond Austin.
Starting in Austin, we plan to enter affiliate marketing programs to help us gain more company exposure. We will target influencers and other content creators who we believe best represent our city and also have a large following of young working adults, which matches our customer segment. Additionally, we plan to implement geofencing advertising, which will allow us to set an advertising zone, such as South Congress, and send targeted advertisements towards users who enter that zone. As Austin expands, we will gain traction with the many newcomers that visit and move here every year.
From our 1-month subscription for $5.99 and our 1-year subscription for $24.99, we are predicting $8,000 in year 1, $25,000 in year 2, and $145,000 in year 3 for subscription-based revenue.
We will acquire ad-based revenue through ad integration in the Questy app and by connecting with local stores such as Departure Lounge, Howler Bros, Joe's Coffee, and more. We have estimated $2 in revenue for every 1,000 impressions. In year 1, we will generate approximately $1,000, $2,000 in year 2, and $5,000 by year 3.
Finally, for our transaction revenue stream, we are predicting $4,000 in year 1, $12,000 in year 2, and $70,000 in year 3.
For our net profit margin, we estimate $15,000 in year 1, $50,000 in year 2, and $360,000 in year 3.
For the first component of our MVP, we gathered information through a random sample of people on South Congress. We pitched our idea, app wireframes, and mission. After we demonstrated the problem we are trying to solve and our solution, we had individuals fill out a form. Through this, we found that both tourists and Austinites were attracted to our idea and would use our app. For the next component of our MVP, we each took 3 people around South Congress to show how our app would work through iconic Austin locations. We created bios for each location and discussed how Questy functions. As we neared one of the specific locations, we showed how our app would notify them. From creating a live simulation with the notification you received to the in-depth description, the 18 people we took out got to experience a form of our app's functionality. After our tours, we had our guests fill out a form so we could collect their preferences of our app.
From their feedback, we learned that tourists would be more likely to use Questy than locals. Questy could also be helpful to individuals who have recently moved to cities by educating them about their new home in a way that is personalized to them. From the 24 individuals we pitched our idea to on South Congress, 12 were Austinites and 12 were tourists. We concluded that more than 83% of the 24 would use the Questy app and 50% would purchase a premium subscription. From the live simulation portion of our MVP, 92% of the 18 people said they would use our app, and again, 92% would purchase a subscription. Our business model changed because we realized that we needed a concise and direct marketing strategy. The people we pitched our idea to on South Congress were not too willing to listen to us at first. However, after we hooked them in, they really liked our idea. This shows that having a strong marketing strategy that gets people to listen and learn more about Questy will be necessary for our success.
We are asking for $15,000, $2,000 for legal fees, $5,000 to further our app development, and $8,000 for marketing to accumulate more users onto the Questy platform.
We are a group of hardworking, young female entrepreneurs who are passionate about our up-and-coming business that can revolutionize tourism. We believe to love something is to know it better. So let's start with Questy. Thank you.
All right. Oh, Great work, ladies. I know y'all just found out that you were pitching tonight, so bravo, bravo. It's always good to see that excitement as you come on stage. Also love the purple. So I want to commend you on understanding and recognizing that you needed more money behind marketing, especially with a consumer-facing app like this. There has to be a lot of, I think oftentimes teams think, oh, we can just throw a couple $1,000s and that'll be enough. But in a market like Austin, it is really hard to get noticed and to get listened to. So I'm curious to have y'all go a little more granular with who those people are gonna be that will be the most active on Questy. If you're just starting in Austin and these are travelers who are most likely to use it, how are you gonna keep them on the app and why would they want to subscribe?
We think that young working adults, so those who come to Austin for business trips, will be our early adopters because they won't have a set itinerary for their trip, but they still want to figure out the best things to do in Austin, the hot spots they need to hit up, and by having this app, they'll recognize that this is good for Austin, and as we expand it to more cities, they'll want to continue paying for this app for more business trips that go on.
So I was wondering when we were going to get an all-female team. So very, very nice. And beautiful deck. Very, very nicely done. I want to go a little further with what you were saying. I feel like that one of the things that you did the best is to show us that you were really willing to roll up your sleeves and getting down in there and talking to customers and then pivoting where necessary and trying to really understand them. But I would encourage you not to think just in demographics. Think about what I call the psychographics of why people would use this. Who would be most likely on their vacation or in their trip to pick up a phone and actually use apps? So have you given some thought to those that actually would do this with other apps, and what would those types of ancillary apps be?
So we want to target more go with the flow people. So they don't actually have to get on the app to use it. They'll receive a notification when they're near an iconic landmark. We wanted to target go with the flow people because these people aren't going to have a planned itinerary, and so that's where Questy steps in and solves their problem, gives them places to go, gives them ideas as to what they want to see. So it's less for people that are all planned out, know what they're going to do when they're coming on a business trip or coming on a vacation. We're more so targeting people who don't have plans.
Okay, I can buy that. I think that it's hard to know who a go on the flow kind of person is when you're marketing and who you're targeting. I'm also assuming this Austin is just the first market, correct? How do you go about picking the next market? How do you know what city would be next?
So we also want to target up-and-coming cities, so fast-growing cities that have less landmarks on the web. So next location we would target is Waco. More Texas-based, so we can actually get in there and implement locations. But we want to target the cities that are growing faster and have less information out there.
There might even be some partnerships that you could explore that would be a pulse point, that if you could have a partnership, it radiates out multiple customers. I think you should think about this in maybe a bigger way of how do you get more customers in one swath, because that's the big thing about apps is how do you actually attract people to them. So, but well done. Very, very well done, and I love the fact that it was spontaneously done. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll ask one other question. So if you guys win the money, what would be the first thing that you would do with that money? What's the logical next step?
We currently have an app developer, and we're working on getting our app developed, as you saw by the video. But our next step would be to finalize getting it on the App Store and working out some kinks that we still have with it, as it's not a perfect app, it's a beta app. And with that, then users can actually download the app and use it around Austin.
All right, great job, Questy. All right, we're going to hear about our final judge this evening, Jeff Eversman.
Jeff is co-founder and general partner of Longview Technology Ventures and an adjunct instructor at Concordia University. He has been working with technology startups since 1994. Prior to founding Longview Technology Ventures, Jeff worked as a fractional CFO or senior finance leader for multiple startups in Austin, Texas. His expertise includes new product development, finance, entrepreneurship, including fundraising, strategy, and launching new companies. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Jeff.
And now let's welcome our final team to the stage, Zilker Activity Rentals.
Spike ball,
Cornhole.
Football.
can jam,
Frisbees.
and more. Playing games at the park. It allows for friends and families to spend time together, have fun, and create memories. The parkgoers of Austin's most beloved park, Zilker Park, struggle when it comes to playing games on the 351-acre green. People wanting to be active at Zilker Park face the hassle of hauling and lugging heavy outdoor games and equipment. It's just all too much. Whoever you are, whatever reason is hindering your ability to make lasting memories with the people you love, Zilker Activity Rentals is there for your park enjoyment. Hi, I'm Ava Gavin.
I'm Johnny Brinkley.
I'm Ethan Zhang.
I'm Sydney Evans.
I'm Meg Calloway.
And I'm Joel Quee, and we are Zilker Activity Rentals.
Located in Zilker Park, Zilker Activity Rentals services park visitors with a convenient, hassle-free renting experience.
Yes, like Ava said, people don't go to the park to carry a bunch of equipment and make a whole lot of work for themselves. They go to the park to make memories. So let's help them do that.
As our customers roll in, we will rent out our products with a simple 3-step process. First, our customer looks at our selection menu and tells us what they would either like to rent or purchase. Next, they can pay for the rental via card, Venmo, or cash. And lastly, our customer is free to go and have some fun.
And if our customers wish to plan ahead, we also offer an online reservation system. After many consultations with our web designer, we are proud to say that we have created a fully functioning website that offers an easy way to pay ahead. Here's what our customers will see. As you can see, our website fulfills the purpose of our service digitally, as it exemplifies both simplicity and convenience.
Well, how about our competition?
What competition?
Something great about our business is that no other service does anything remotely similar to us. We would be the only company that gives the visitors of Zilker Park the ability to rent outdoor games or activities. But you may be wondering, why has no one else decided to pursue this business? Well, that's because of Zilker Park's permitting restrictions, which can be kind of difficult to navigate.
After multiple consultations with a lawyer, communication with Colin Wallace, CEO of Austin Park Foundation, and multiple calls with existing businesses, we are proud to announce that Zilker Activity Rentals is legal to operate within the park.
When applying for a permit, there is a list of requirements that a business must meet in order to obtain it. The only requirement that we did not meet said that the business must have at least 3 years of operating experience.
However, we have found a legal loophole that involves partnering with a local business that has been operating for the required 3 years. Businesses such as Juiceland on Barton Springs, Hollow Mold, and Snow Beach have already expressed their interest in partnering with us in order to help us overcome this obstacle. Earlier yesterday, we actually had a very promising conversation with Joe Draker, the owner of Maudie's, who said he loves our vision and would be happy to continue with an official partnership if our other plans fall through.
Once we have officially gained a partnership, we will be granted seasonal 6-month operation at the park for $1,500 yearly. This suits our business perfectly, as we only plan to operate from March through September in order to avoid events such as ACL and the trail of lights. Also, with the lawyer, we have created a waiver for customers to sign regarding liability and damage policy.
Now, how many customers do we really have? Well, we started with the impressive 2.6 million people visiting Zilker Park annually. We then factored in the age distribution of those visitors and eliminated those who would have no interest in playing games at the park to get a serviceable, addressable market of around 780,000 people.
With all these people, we need help driving this traffic to our concessions vehicle. With the goal of also building brand awareness, Zilker Activity Rentals will be utilizing geomarketing techniques. Geomarketing is the practice of using data location to serve marketing messages to a highly targeted audience. Geomarketing has so many applications that can help out our small local business. One of these applications being geofencing. It's as easy as this. When a customer walks past our virtual set geographic area of Zilker Park, they can receive a notification from us, like this. Look, I just received a notification from Zilker Activity Rentals. I'm now reminded of our service and can go rent my favorite outdoor activities from our concessions trailer.
In order to maximize customers, we will recruit multiple ambassador-like employees. These employees will wear bright-colored shirts and big smiles while interacting with park visitors. Each ambassador will make 10% of their sales for the day. Our ambassadors will be more than eager to facilitate memory making at beautiful Zilker Park.
Once customers have gained interest through these ambassadors, here's what they will see. This is an assortment of what we have to offer.
But how do we price our items?
Zilker Activity Rentals prides ourselves on our affordable and reasonable pricing. First, we take the retail value of the piece of equipment. We then take roughly 15% of this value to get our hourly rental rate. We will also be charging $2 per water.
And there's more. To honor our most loyal customers, we have decided to include a membership program. By selling memberships, our business is provided with recurring revenue and increased engagement. Our standard membership offers customers 5 rentals for only $20 a month, and our premium membership offers customers with unlimited rentals for $40 a month.
How could it get any better?
Well, while we are all making memories, let's unplug. Something unique we decided to implement into our business is a phone charging station located at our stand. What would be easier than leaving your phone with us as you play a game of soccer with your friends? Because we will be charging for the service, we will make more income, our customers' valuables are safe with us, and they are free to spend quality time with the ones that they care about.
In this process, we have often been questioned about our plan regarding expansion to other cities in the future. As of right now, we are laser focused on Zilker Park and succeeding throughout the Austin area. However, our business can be easily replicated, so we feel that a franchise model would suit us well. We plan to pursue this franchise model by expanding to other locations and profiting from 7% of each replicated rental stand.
You are all probably wondering, how do we know that our business will succeed? That's when our MVP comes into play. On April 3rd, the 6 of us all went to Zilker Park and set up a mock stand with a sample of our inventory. Like we had hoped, we had an exceptional amount of business, especially considering the park conditions were less than ideal. On a cloudy, windy, humid, and half-full day, our stand still thrived. After around 8 hours of operation, we totaled $481 in revenue. The most important takeaway that we can get from our test run is knowing that there are people who will take advantage of our service. Zilker Activity Rentals is a business that is desired, adaptable, and bound for success.
Although we aren't operating at the park yet, Zilker Activity Rentals has already made a name for ourselves. As you can see, we have sponsored multiple events, including the Westlake High School prom. We received great feedback, and everyone loved what we had to offer. Additionally, earlier this spring, we engaged with our community by visiting the Eanes Elementary Carnival. It made us so happy to be able to facilitate memory making within the families of Eanes.
Something that we really value is our cause, keeping Austin beautiful. For this reason, Zilker Activity Rentals will be donating 5% of our yearly revenue to Austin Parks Foundation in order to keep all parks in Austin at their best. It's natural that we partner with and contribute to the one place that makes our business possible. We also hope that our desire to help the park will lead the city to let us continue operation indefinitely as we're helping our city.
Moving on to our financial projections. Using the data gathered from our MVP, we performed lots of calculations and factored in things like churn rates for our membership subscriptions and increase in inventory and ambassadors to get our 3-year financial projections. Our estimated profits are shown here.
Now, here's where we need your help. We are asking for $15,000 in order to start up our business as soon as possible. We will need $1,500 to obtain our 6-month temporary concessions permit, $2,500 to purchase the rest of our inventory and equipment, and finally, $11,000 to upgrade our measly tent to a professional concessions vehicle. We are a business that you can trust. We are a business that can make money. In fact, our business is so easy to execute that realistically, we could be up and running by this summer.
We greatly appreciate this opportunity to present our pitch to you. This is a project that we're all so passionate about. We don't think of ourselves in the activity rental business. We're in the making memories business. We hope that you've enjoyed our presentation today and want you to join us in making a new generation of memories at Zilker Park. We'd now like to open the floor up to any questions you may have.
Nice job, and you guys for sure win the award for the best audience participation.
When you sponsor prom, I think that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple of questions, or really one. So will the park allow you to put a permanent structure there, or is this something you have to go set up every day during your window of operating activity?
Yeah,
sorry, you can go.
I can touch on this. So the park won't let us have a permanent concessions place of business on city property, but we do plan on having a mobile concessions trailer or vehicle operated near Zilker Park's volleyball courts.
Okay, thank you. And I'm not familiar with Can Jam, so will one of your smiley, happy people working the counter there be able to teach me how to do that?
Yes, our plan for our ambassadors is to invite people to play games at the park and talk to friend groups. And yes, one of our ambassadors will be happy to help.
Excellent, thank you. I can't wait to learn.
Great job, y'all. I really, really appreciated we're in the making memories business. I think this is what you said, it's a product that could be making money right now. It's obviously very different than a lot of the other companies that we saw pitch today. So I applaud y'all for doing something that's different and doing something that you know you can directly execute. And also loved that y'all were out in the park and seeing those photos. It looks like y'all are having a good time doing it. So good work. And the making memories business, that could go far. So you build a brand with this and that could go far. Okay, my question is about your website and getting it to a place that's fully functioning. Are y'all doing that from the team, or is this something that y'all have hired out, or you found someone who is passionate about it to help you execute that?
We actually have a student at our school that is very experienced with coding and making websites. So we contacted him earlier this fall, and he's been working on it and sending proofs to us. And we've gotten it to a place where we like how it looks.
Awesome. Last thing, I also think the subscription model is really smart. Having that recurring revenue is really, that will give you a lot even if people aren't out there using it every day. So good work.
So I will also say, great job. I think you've thought ahead of so many things. You were very professional in your presentation. So very well done. Love the video and the deck behind it. But what you're entering in is, I think, a more people-intensive environment than anything we've seen today, and maybe even more than you think through even when you're trying to look at this. Because I think if you showed up with these games and the right kind of attitude and you were in the park, I would go straight there. You would not have a problem getting people to come over and use your stuff. What you might have a problem is getting people consistently to work there and actually always have it staffed and be consistent about that. So how do you feel about just the culture that you're building? How do you feel about hiring the people that will come and do this? By the way, I think the online, reserving things online is beautiful. But what about the people working in serving some of these people in the park?
I think this is part of why we're going to use ambassadors, because we feel that if we can recruit high schoolers, college-age people, and they can come work for us as ambassadors, and it's more so commission-based pay, that their hard work will basically get them more money, and they'll be more interested in staying.
But when I think of an ambassador, I think of someone doing things on the outside to promote the product. Is that what you're talking about as well?
For us, because Zilker Park is so massive, our ambassadors are kind of going to be wandering to different places, whether it's closer to Barton Springs or the playgrounds, and kind of talking to people, as soliciting is allowed at Zilker Park. And there they can kind of convince people to make purchases with us.
And just to clarify, the term that we use, ambassador, could also be like synonymous with sales representative. They're people actively coming up to people throughout the park and getting more income and getting more sales.
But there still has to be someone back at the booth that actually
Correct.
checks out the ball, and then it comes back and it's deflated, and they run off with equipment. I mean, there's still people that have to be there managing all this. And it may not be the highest paid position. So it's something that you will want to think about. And maybe that culture and the building of experiences, maybe just what you're doing with hiring high school and college students, maybe it becomes something that's just really a popular thing to go do. But it is something you should consider.
I will say great job on coordinating your shirts. You're the first team that come out here in all the same color. I'm curious because this seems like something that is obvious, like why isn't anybody doing it now? My first question is that because of the legal hurdles is why we don't see people out there with their own stands renting equipment? And my second question is, have you looked at how much equipment you need to be able to rent out to cover your overhead of the people that are going to be working throughout the day to service all these different rentals?
Yes, sir. Okay, so for your first question, for the legal concerns, so basically the reason, like we said, is people haven't been able to get across the requirement of a 3 years of operating before you go into the park. And I don't think people have necessarily thought about the loophole we thought of, where basically we're going to put a different brand as like representative of us when we apply for the permit. So I just don't think people have thought of that yet, and we've got it all checked out by a lawyer, and it should be good to go because the page that the city sent us is very vague, so there are a lot of loopholes in it. And then to answer your second question, oh, sorry, could you repeat it?
So the second question is about how much equipment do you have to have in inventory in order to cover your operating costs on a daily basis?
Well, our plan right now is to use our $2,500, if we were granted it, to purchase as much equipment as we could, and then as we gain more customers, as we get more money, we can hopefully buy more things. But we're basically just going to gauge it based off how many customers we're getting, how much income we're receiving, and how much we can expand our selection.
All right, great job, Zilker Activity Rentals.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we finally reached that point in the evening where we're going to thank our judges as they make their way out to make this decision that Coach Nixon and myself are very glad we do not have to make. And now is the time of the night that you get to participate as well. Pull out your phone, because as soon as this is gone, it's gone. Pull out your phone and vote for your choice for best pitch of the evening. Later on, the team that you select will be receiving $2,000, so make sure you cast your vote.
All right, so the next thing we want to do is just honor some of our volunteers this year. The first award that we want to give out tonight is for our Mentor of the Year.
So the mentors in our classroom serve an integral role. They work one-on-one with our teams throughout the entire year. They serve as a sounding board. They give advice. They listen to the teams complain, ideate, all of the above. We're very honored to announce this year's Mentor of the Year is Mr. John Hill from Team MT Equipment.
The next award we want to give out is our Coach of the Year. Our Incubator coaches serve as content area experts that come into the classroom and teach curriculum from anywhere from 1 to 5 days. They're a critical part of the program that helps bring the real world into the classroom and makes this a more authentic learning experience. Our Coach of the Year this year has been with the Incubator program volunteering for 5 years now. He also served coach this year and was a mentor for a team this year. We're so proud to honor our Coach of the Year, Alan Daniel. And this is why.
Okay, one last recognition that Jeff and I would like to make. Over the past 5 years, well, 6 years total, we have had a friend, a peer, an advisor, a support system that will never be beat, and she is retiring this summer, but we would have to recognize Miss Jerry Lamaron for all her hard work and dedication to this program.
Now we just want to hear a little bit from the student perspective.
I got out of Business Incubator this year was getting hands-on, real-world experiences.
I enjoyed thinking of ideas that had the possibility of coming to life.
What I like about Incubator is how you're coming in every day to work with your group mates and you're creating that bond. And what I got out of it is, the grasp of business talk. Just you're learning real world things that you're gonna need, if you want to pursue something in this aspect of career. Thank you very much.
Things I like about Incubator are the teachers and the support we get from our community, as well as just all that we learn that can help us later in life.
Hi. What I liked about the Business Incubator program is it's a great way for students to get experience in creating a business, the world of business, and what goes into creating a business.
And what I got out of it is just the memories and the friendships that you never thought you'd make. And also from the teams that did make pitch night, you actually learned from their presentations of how to start a business well.
About Business Incubator was going through the process of brainstorming, coming up with an actual plan, doing customer research, coming up with MVP. It was very interesting to go through all of these intricate details and learn so much throughout the entire thing. And we had a lot of mentors that came in. We got a lot of valuable feedback in general, making it extremely valuable overall.
I think adding on to that, just being able to see how supportive the Westlake community was, especially with Aviv and I did a lot of customer interviews, so we were out and about the community, talking to people, and just their openness and support of a high school business was just amazing to see.
What I like about Business Incubator is the amount of coaches and mentors I've met throughout the year and forming unexpected friendships.
So when we tragically lost Jackson Coker, the Incubator program and the Westlake Innovation Fund wanted to find a way to honor him and his legacy and the impact that he had on the Incubator program. So they developed the Jackson Coker Incubator Scholarship. It's a scholarship designed to honor students that represent the characteristics that Jackson lived by. Not only was he an amazing student, but he was an incredible human. Some of those characteristics that we look for in these students are things like curiosity, leadership, self-motivation, empathy for those around him, and just someone who lives a truly genuine, authentic life. So we're so pleased to continue this tradition of honoring students with the Jackson Coker Incubator Scholarship. Our first recipients of this scholarship this year are...
From Elgin High School, we would love to welcome to the stage G. Cruz and Carlos Montalvo.
These students have earned a $2,000 scholarship that they can use to further their education. Congratulations, students. Family, friends, if y'all want to grab some pictures right now, feel free to come closer, get some pictures. Let's give another round of applause to these incredible students. And we also have some students from Westlake High School being honored with a scholarship. Students from Westlake receiving the Jackson Coker Incubator Scholarship this year are Reese Strickland, Leo Vaya, and Preston Clark. Congratulations. Friends, family, please feel free to come closer, grab a picture. One more big round of applause for these students. If you are interested in supporting the Incubator program, there's many ways you can get involved. One can be donating money. The other can be volunteering as a mentor or coach. You can find all this information in the digital program that you have access to tonight. You can visit the Eanes district website. You can email us. Find us. We would love to have any support that you have to offer. If you're interested in mentoring a team, if you're an expert in a field and want to come in and teach some curriculum, you are those volunteers are critical to this program. All right. We're getting on to our first award of funding for the evening, our People's Choice Award that was just voted on by you guys.
After we reset everything, the winners of $2,000 and your People's Choice is Zilker Activity Rentals.
Please come to the stage.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you.
It looks like our judges are still deliberating, so we're
Y'all
just going to
made
give
it
them a minute. We know this is an extremely difficult decision. All right, it's that time. If I can have all of our finalists that were on stage tonight come up and join us on stage, all 5 of our teams. Y'all can just spread out across the stage and line up with your team. I'll pass this to you once we bring y'all back out.
Okay, we're gonna make them sweat just a little longer. We're gonna bring the judges out and give us a little bit of reflection on their time of deliberation in the back.
Does this work? Yes, it works. So a couple of things I'd say. One, it was very difficult for us to pick a winning team and even a second place team. I've been involved with this incubator program since its beginning, and I've been a judge for this is maybe my 4th year or 5th year to judge, and I love doing it. And every year, the quality and caliber of the teams that come before us in the final round just gets more and more impressive. And so I want to congratulate you all for the hard work and the really exceptional presentations. It's hard getting up there in front of these angry crowd out here and 5 nasty judges that are going to hold your fate in their hands. And you all did a very impressive job, and so we should all give them a round of applause.
And I would just totally agree. I think that we all were struggling with this final decision because these presentations were so professional. And this is my 3rd time to actually do this, and I do agree that every time they're getting better and better. But what I loved is that you really got in there and talked about your customers. You were wrestling with who really would use this, and I think that was a learning that you're gonna have that it will stay with you. It's the customers that matter. It's not necessarily can you build it and how much money you're making. It's who needs this, right? Start there. So I just want to say I thought this was an extremely professional. Every single group was amazing in your presentation. So thank you for that.
All right, it's that time of the evening to announce our winners. We're going to start with our 2nd place team receiving $8,000 in funding. Our 2nd place winner is Questy. And now we're going to bring out our community champion to announce our winning team, Brian Thomas.
All right, you got the winner. Oh, by the way, I've been in the education software business for 23 years, and this is one of the most impressive programs, the most impressive students and community. And in addition to the winning team, just to let you know, any of you who want to have an internship this summer with my company, I'm happy to give that to you so I can get some free labor, almost free labor. All right, so the winner is pharmacist.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you again next year at Pitch Night 2023.